Hello friends, how are you all? Myself Dr. Veena Sakardande here with new topic today from nursing education. Hello friends. So today we are going to start with the part 3 from the shock, and last two sessions we have seen part 1 and part 2. In part 1 we have seen about definition, causes, pathophysiology, common signs and symptoms, diagnostic assessment of shock. And then in part 2 we have started with the classification of shock. So let us start with the part 3 from shock. So first we will see shock, that is septic shock. What do you understand with the word septic? Septic in the sense something related to infection, something related to microorganism. So here septic shock, we can say it is an emergency management, or it is a critical phase to treat the patient whether there is decrease into blood pressure. As we know, normal blood pressure is 120 by 80, but it drops below 90 by 60 or 80 by 50 or less than that. So low blood pressure. And why there will be a low blood pressure? Because of chronic infection or chronic infection which will leading to some of the complications, maybe systemic complication. So it is called as a septic shock. And infection, we can say infection is caused by different microorganisms like viruses, bacteria, some of the fungi, which leads to infection. And it is a dysregulated response to the infection where which is not responding to any treatment, any antibiotic therapy. So this is definition of shock. So how we are going to treat the shock? First, as usual, we have to find out the exact cause, exact microorganism. So blood culture has to be done, assess the sign and symptom of shock, and then we can detect the cause and in which phase patient is come to take the treatment. So next, establish an airway and give oxygen by mask. As patient is having breathing problem related to circulation, respiration, all over the body there is decreased blood circulation of oxygenated blood. So we need to establish airway, check for any obstruction, patency of the airway, provide oxygen with the mask, and if it is not possible, so we need to intubate the patient. So endotracheal intubation has to be done. Then assess vital parameters of the patient. Basically, level of consciousness we need to assess, give proper position, assess the pulse rate, blood pressure, temperature. Then elevate the leg or encourage patient to take the head low position and the elevation of the limb. So there will be adequate blood circulation to the vital organ, and basically vital organ like heart, lung, and the brain will get adequate blood circulation, which will help us to get the adequate blood circulation and normal functioning of that particular vital organs. Then intravenous fluid and the drug infusion. Intravenous fluid, as we know, there is a requirement of IV fluids, maybe normal saline, ringer lactate, mannitol, as per requirement of the patient. So we need to provide the IV fluid, calculate the IV fluids and drop factors, and provide the IV fluids through IV infusion. Then drug infusion, as we know, drug infusion may be patient, related to antibiotic therapy. Then establishment of the patent airway and the circulation, we need to have a adequate blood circulation. So IV fluids and drugs are given to the patient. Antibiotic therapy, as it is a, why it is highlighted antibiotic therapy? Because it is related to septic shock because of infection. So continuous antibiotic therapy like maybe OD, BD, or as per the blood culture report, we need to start with the minimum 1 or 2 types of antibiotic to the patient intravenously through IV infusion. Next, we will see anaphylactic shock. What is anaphylactic shock? Anaphylaxis. That means there is something allergic. Something allergic. That is anaphylactic shock is an emergency situation. We can say emergency situation where there is a allergic condition. An allergy happens in the severe, or it can be a dangerous phase for the patient. So it is because of severe allergic reaction, And what are the common causes for the allergic reaction? There may be like some of the food, like the peanut or some the fermented food or milk or non-vegetarian food or seafood can lead to the allergic reaction. Insect stings or insect bite, we can say, can lead to the allergic conditions, severe allergic condition. Some medicines, like some of the medicines, like maybe like penicillin medicines, which leads to allergic reaction, because if it is not treated, if it is not tested for the sensitivity reaction or allergic reaction and directly it is given, like penicillin for example, can lead to anaphylactic shock. Then general anesthesia, even also general anesthesia, if pre-anesthetic checkup is not done and directly in emergency we provide or administer the general anesthesia, patient may have anaphylactic shock or patient may go in shock because of all these causes like food, insect stings, medicines and general anesthesia. But what will happen, every person has a different way of reacting, so we cannot say that this might be a cause for this. So anything can happen as a allergy, maybe unknown history also, even patient may not know the patient is allergic to this condition. Next, management of anaphylactic shock. So again, identify the cause. What is the exact cause for anaphylactic shock? Identify or detect the cause. What is it? Whether it is a food, whether it is a drug, whether it is a bite. So we need to identify the cause, and we need to identify phase in which patient is in type of shock. Then establish airway. Again, oxygen therapy has to be given to the patient by mask or whenever necessary intubation to be done to maintain the patent airway and patient get adequate oxygen. Assessment of the vital signs, pulse rate, blood pressure, heart rate, respiration and temperature we need to monitor. Then elevate the leg so that again get the blood circulation to the heart, lung and then brain so that they function normally and maintain normal functioning of the body and organ. Cardiopulmonary resuscitation if required, like if patient is going into cardiopulmonary shock because of anaphylactic reaction, CPR has to be performed, cardiopulmonary resuscitation, that means providing the artificial breathing and circulation. Then intravenous fluid and drug infusion, as it is anaphylactic shock, anti-allergic drugs are given to the patient and intravenous IV fluids given to maintain the normal fluid and electrolyte. Next is a basic or very specific pharmacological management of shock. First is the analgesics. So if the patient is in having severe pain, to reduce the pain, analgesics are advised to the patient and to prevent the tissue damage. Then sodium bicarbonate, mainly advised for the metabolic acidosis. When there is a fluid electrolyte imbalance and sodium bicarbonate is given to the patient, patient may have a normal metabolic function. Then corticosteroid, which are given to decrease the peripheral resistance and to improve the blood circulation to the heart, improve the cardiac output, improve the blood pressure and pulse rate. So corticosteroids are given to the patient as per requirement. Vasopressors, it is a drug group which include like norepinephrine, epinephrine, dobutamine to improve the contractility of the heart, cardiac output of the patient, pulse rate, and ultimately there will be normal functioning of the renal, heart, then lungs and brain as it get the adequate blood circulation. So this is a like a common pharmacological management for shock. Analgesics, sodium bicarbonate, corticosteroid and vasopressors. So this in session 1 and session 2 and this session 3 we have seen different type of shock, that is hypovolemic shock, cardiogenic shock, neurogenic shock, anaphylactic shock and septic shock, and we have seen the common signs and symptoms and specific management for type of shock. So here we have finished with the session 3 from shock, and we will continue in next session, session 4, that is basically nursing management for the patient with shock. Thank you.